Hello there. Have you ever been in a situation whereby you feel like your things are not progressing as the way you would love? You feel like you're stuck, like nothing is going on in your life, be it either financial, social, or even anything, all right? Guess what? On this video specifically, I'm going to share with you 5 signs that you're actually doing far much better than you thought. I actually receive calls and people telling me, hey, you know what, Joseph, I feel like I'm not progressing here and there. But when we have a conversation, in the middle of a conversation, I realize, wow, you're doing a very great things than you thought. Anyway, all what you need to do is sit back, relax, and watch this video to the end, because this gonna be an amazing video that gonna change your life and the perception that you have towards the finance. All right. Anyway, guess what? I bet I should remind you. Allow me just to do so. I usually post a video each and every day about how to make money, be it either online, conventional, or savings tips and all those kind of things. All right. If you don't want to miss any of my good videos in future, do this. Doesn't cost you anything. All right. It's free of charge. Down below there on your right, there is a very small button written subscribe. It is in black. Hit that magical button, like this video, and turn that notification bell. And by only doing that, a whole YouTube will notify you whenever I upload a new good video. Let's get into the business, all right? So the point number 1 is that you got food on your table. Guess what? If there is something so vital, so needful, or so needed, or must have, is food. All right, no matter what the dreams that you have, for you to be sustained to reach that dream, you have to eat. And if you do have food on your table, all right, that shows you that you're actually doing far much better. If I tell you how many guys are actually going hungry without getting food, you'll be shocked. There you are, you got yourself food there. And to make it matter better is that you got yourself a balanced diet out there. So if you got food on your table, actually that should be the very first indication that you're actually doing far much better. Because you may find some individuals who are actually having a very difficult moment or times to actually present food on the table. I understand sometimes it may be hard for you to actually place that food on the table, but at the end of the day, the ends meet and you got that food on the table. What I should tell you is that if you start appreciating that what you have, big gratitude of what you have, by the way, getting that what you do not have becomes a very easy way and an easy task for you to achieve it. But if you live in this kind of a denial in life, like, hey, you know what, I don't feel like I'm even eating that what is right, I feel like I've not been in 5-star like lately, and all those kind of things, all what you do is that you track that negative energy, it accumulates within your life, and that one actually can achieve, or rather can achieve in confusing you in achieving that what you've been aiming in terms of your goal. So let's agree one thing on this video, or on that, or rather on this point. One thing, that if you do have food on your table, then consider that as you being lucky, and is a thing that you thought that it was like a must have, of which actually it is, but those who do not have, I do not know what they have done for them not having. But the point is, if you have that food on the table, then consider that as being lucky, being better than you thought. All right, let's proceed to the second point. All right, that there is something that left for saving, no matter how small it is. I know one thing, if you've been watching my videos for quite a while, I talk about wealth creation, I talk about riches, talk about money, investments, and all those kind of things. Yeah, it's all about creating wealth, it's all about savings, it's all about creating other source of income, other streams of income, and what have you. The point is this: well, whenever you realize that there is something left behind for savings, and by here what I mean by savings, it can be monetary value, or it can be physical thing. After you've done your thing, there is something left behind. That actually surplus is usually gives you an indication that you're actually doing far much better. Why? Because if you had nothing, then of course even even having that basic is not even there. So therefore, even having that surplus won't be there by default. So if you can manage to save, no matter how small it is. There was a time I was interacting with a lady who was employed somewhere in a just a makeshift hotel, should I call it, and then she was earning only 450 Kenyan shillings. She was using 150 Kenyan shillings for her transport, so she was left with 300, 200 for eating, and 100 more for saving each and every day. She had a merry-go-round kind of a thing. So that small, as little as it is, she managed to accumulate that amount of money, started her own makeshift restaurant, and she's making an income out of that. The point is this: if you can, or if you do have that small, no matter how it is, but you're actually saving something behind out there, that what can make you achieve greater things. I know this one may not sound well with men, because we tend to despise those small beginnings and those small savings and what have you. Because if you tell a man like, hey, guess what, we do not earn a lot of money each and every day, but hey, if you can just manage to set aside only 100 bob each and every day, guess how much you'll have at the end of the year? We have close to 50 or rather 40,000 Kenyan shillings. They are like, what's 100 bob? You get the point. And this is where men or women beat men's hands down, because they usually never despise that small savings and can actually progress you to a very achieving very greater heights in life. So if you get something that you're saving out there, then don't consider yourself as the unlucky Kenyans. Consider yourself like you're progressing. It may not be the amount of money that you prospect or love to save, because if you compare what you're saving vis-a-vis what you're aiming, maybe say you're aiming for 100k for you to start a business, you're saving only 100 bob, and then you realize that 6,000 at the end of the year, even 2 months would do nothing, even 3 months, even don't give up in between. All right. And that's why I've tell you, or always make sure that you watch my videos, because hey, you don't have like to continuously save, because you can save to a certain amount, then after that you can invest it, create more savings, then you can be able to achieve the bigger goal. I always tell people, guess what? If you have a very big goal, subdivide it into smaller sections, and once you actually achieve that smaller section, gives you the motivation to face the other one, and by the time you realize, you've actually killed and you've actually achieved the entire goal that you've been having. All right, how about you go to point number 3? But did you subscribe? Yeah, I bet you did. Now, point number 3 is that you ain't paying any medical bill, no matter how small it is. Now, you're paying nothing as far as the medical. If there's something that actually brings people back, or kind of sort of a retrogressive, kind of hinders you from progressing, is this medical bills, because this does not only affect your health, but also affect your finance. So one thing that you're supposed to understand is this: paying your medical bill can be so, and actually it's very detrimental, especially if you're not financially stable. Then that can get a lot of people into problems. Some people be in a family whereby this family is not even a wealthy family. It's not a family that is actually so much good in terms of, let's say, material wise or something of sort, but there they are, they have their loved ones in the hospitals, the bills has accumulated to an outrageous amount of money, and there they are calling for the harambes, meaning like pulling together resources for them to cater for that bill. And then in the process, that loved one of them dies, and then they have to pay all that money to the medical bill. They come bury their loved one, then they go back to the same state. You can just imagine that kind of a life, right? It's so rough for your life. Okay, so the point is this: if you aren't paying anything to do with the bill, meaning that you are very healthy, then if you never took that bread that you've been wanting or love to get in the morning with the butter, but at least you got that health that you can wake up, try to make ends meet, try as much as you can, and make it better than it was yesterday. Because I always tell people one thing: don't compete with anybody. Fine, okay, fine. Let me just recorrect myself. It's okay to compete with everyone, but the point is this: for you to measure how progressive you are, consider yourself when you compare yourself today and that of yesterday. And then with that, you are able to make strides, make steps, even if they are baby steps, progressively with a period of time. You're going to get yourself somewhere you can say, hey, you know what? If I compare my life 5 years ago and today, then I've made a very substantive difference, and a very great difference, be it either social, spiritual, or anything that you're looking forward out there. All right, so it is good to compare yourself with people, because you can actually tell, hey, this is where people are heading and this is what things are done. Because yeah, I know you were told like life is not a competition. I'm telling you that it's a very stiff competition. That's for a fact, especially if you're a man out there, or especially if you're anyone out there. Anyway, the other point is that you have a roof on your head. Yes. This is actually, I should have maybe made it the first one or the second one out there. But guess what? If you get yourself a roof over your head, meaning that you have a place that you can call home. It may not be a place, it's a place maybe you're renting. It may be in a shanty place. It may be in a, what we call it, whatever the place is, all right? So the point is this: if you are living in those places, I know you may not be proud of that place. I know you don't love that place. I know it's not a place that you're looking forward into living that place like the rest of your life. But at least it's a place that you can say, hey, you know what? I got a roof on top of my head. Then from there, develop gratitude. Work towards getting out of that place. Because guess what? There are some people who are out there, probably they were evicted. Others are facing a lot of loans. Others are actually, they generally don't have any place that they can call home. But there you are. Feel motivated. Have the gratitude over that, what you have. Then work. By the way, there's something I always tell people: you can never choose where to be born from, but you can always choose where to retire to. That's for a fact, because you cannot decide you don't want to be born in Korogosho, you don't want to be born in Mukuru kwa Jenga, you don't want to be born in Kibra and all the Soweto, whatever those places that you may be watching this video from. But the point is this: you may not be able to choose, but you can be able to decide excuse me, and transform your life progressively in terms of development. So the point is this: if you get something that you can call a roof on top of your head, no matter how it looks like, yes, don't be on a comfort zone. Don't feel like, hey, you know what, this is who I am. Yeah, I was born in a poverty, and then I don't know what, nobody has ever progressed in my family. Probably I would never ever thought in that direction. You can actually get yourself out of that and rise to be one of the greatest stars that we have, or you have, in your country. Depends on where you're watching from. All right, so the point is, if you got a roof on top of your head, be thankful and have a gratitude and thank God and say, hey, you know what, it may not be the place I want to be, but at least I got something that I can be able to do. All right, guess what? Number 5, the last one but not the least. Now, you have a second chance. You ain't on a point of no return. And I bet this is all what we needed, all we need in this life, all right? And I can summarize it in a single 4-word word called hope, all right? And that is what you say that you are not at a point. Usually you have what we call a second chance. And a second chance is this. Now, you're watching this video and you feel like, hey, you know what? I haven't been doing better than you should be, but I just have that chance. I can try it again, and you can do it again. Maybe you tried something, never worked. Maybe you tried a certain investment, went down. Maybe you tried a certain social thing, went down. Have you been having dreams and visions out there trying to, press different buttons, but it's not working? But there you are. You can try as much as you can. Grab that what you have as of now and try to make a difference again. And I always tell people, don't give up, because if you do, that is not an option. That is not a choice. Can you imagine this? You tried a business somewhere. Maybe you had like 50K. You're out there. You tried that business, never worked. But there you are, you probably developed a very negative attitude and say, hey, businesses are scam, I will never start any business, it's better my money stay in a bank, and all those kind of things. Or what you're doing is that, again, you're accumulating that negative energy around yourself, and that can actually deter you from achieving or realizing your full potential. What I would advise you to do exactly, make sure that you hold back, relax. Learn a lesson. Once you fail, just learn a lesson. This may sound more of a motivation than the reality, but the truth is it is vice versa. It is more real than it is a motivation. So once you make sure that you, or rather you did something and maybe you felt like, hey, things didn't go exactly as I wished, that does not mean now you should never try that thing again. Some of these guys whom you see having very successful businesses, some of them actually started from nowhere. They started, or they tried different things and failing, and now where they are, they have a bunch of what you call the experience, and they can actually stand a chance and advise people and tell them, this is what you do, this is not what you do. So the point is this: all those 5 points actually indicates and tells you that you're actually doing far much better than you thought. Don't consider yourself like unlucky, hey, you're not progressing and all those kind of things, all right? And you say, hey, I'm only eating, dressing and all those kind of things. Yeah, I understand. And I say, this is the disclaimer. I'm not saying that you should feel comfortable because you're actually achieving all this. You should aim for more. You should aim for bigger things and bigger goals. But again, don't develop that energy and feel like you're doing nothing as far as your life is concerned. Guess what? That's the end of my video. Yeah, as simple as that. All right. So guess what? If you would like to get in booklets of my businesses, ideas, investments, shares, money market fund, all those kind of things, grab my number from my description of the description of this specific video. You give me a call, you get started. All right. That number is out there. You can give me a call for consultations and what have you for just a cup of coffee. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.